Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Tonight is going to be another Christian-based live stream, and I'm going to kind of share with you the reason why I am a Christian and why I truly believe. I'm not going to give you the full story because I don't want to spend that much time on it tonight, but I'm going to share with you my experiences with the demonic realm. Now, if you think that's crazy, okay. I realize I'm probably going to sound crazy to a lot of people, but then if you dive deeper and you talk to more people, you might find out that I don't sound as crazy as you thought. Now, hang on a sec. Apologize for that. Make sure this mic is working correctly. Thought that was set up already, but I made a mistake. I'm working. Hey, I'm not. I'm working right now. Okay, sorry about that. Now, before I get into it, let me know, does the audio sound good? I'm not going to spend much time reading comments. Everyone says hello. I'll just go ahead and do that right now. Hello. But let me know if the audio sounds bad or whatnot. Now, before I get into the meat and potatoes of this one, I'm going to go ahead and do some promotion as people are joining. Now, coming up, Combat Shotgun. That's going to be at Air Strength Facility in Leesburg. It's a one-day class, 5-hour class, not too long. Shotguns are kind of a workout for students. So I'd like to keep that one a little bit shorter, but Combat Shotgun is going to be on June 8th. That is a Sunday, I believe. Again, 5-hour class. And after that, I have a new class called Rifle Cheat Codes on June 21st. And I believe that is a Saturday. So Rifle Cheat Codes, if you've done Pistol Cheat Codes, is very similar. And basically, it's about getting good at shooting your rifle and being able to be good with both hands, and that will facilitate much better movement, much better use of cover, and also having two hands and two eyeballs is a luxury, so you should probably be good with the other one in case the one you think you're going to use is going to go down. I had a force on force class, or at the end, you had to go in and do this big fight, and I ended up getting shot 6 times in my right arm. And so if you haven't had an experience like that, I'm just going to let you know, like, things don't go always the way you want, so you should probably be good with the other one. But Rifle Cheat Codes is the new one. I don't have a link for that up on here, but you can go to my website and you can find it. Then coming up after that, New London, Ohio, Pistol Cheat Codes and Proving Grounds Pistol. That's June 28th and 29th. It's going to be a good time. It's at Thurman's place, so if y'all know him, you'll have a good time too, because he's a good dude. So is his son. We got people signed up. Pistol Cheat Codes, and then that is paired with Proving Grounds Pistol. Proving Grounds Pistol is a force on force class, and for the force on force class, it is a skills-based force on force. So it's not a scenario one. It is like, we're going to get all the skills you normally do on paper, you're going to do against people. And then at the end, there's a couple of drills where it's more of a freestyle fight where we basically go until both guys are out of ammo. And so it is working your skills in the fight. That is what that is all about. You can be great at doing stuff on paper, but if you've never done it against a person, you should take this class. After that, I'm going to be doing Carry Pistol 1 at Taprack Ridge, July 5th through 6th. And so I'm actually planning on changing the name of that. So if you look on my website and you don't see Carry Pistol 1, it's because I changed the name. But that one, the description will be fairly similar. I'm going to update it a little bit. But overall, that class isn't gonna. The name needs to change. The description needs to change. The topics covered are pretty similar with the updated class, but I might tweak the topics covered a little bit. But stuff like 911 calls, tourniquet use of cover, contact shots, stuff like that, that will all be there. Now, just recently posted Rifle Cheat Codes October 17th in Mount Carmel, PA. That is Friday. And then the weekend, October 18th and 19th, we're doing Patrolling the Homestead. If you took Wolverine Warfare, and I'll go ahead and extend it to the next Wolverine Warfare class too, you can get $100 off right now, and that discount code that Gary Marr of Performance Dynamics has for $100 off will end July 1st. And also, do not forget the Combat Arts Summit in Gray, Kentucky. I will talk about that more at the end, but if you haven't seen that, it is the best possible summit that you could ever have. It is not just about shooting, medical. There's shooting, medical, there's force on force, there's lectures, there is survival stuff, there's radio stuff. It's meant to be all encompassing around preparedness. Now, promotion done for right now. Now I'm going to get into what I came here to talk about. So, the demonic realm is real. So, I personally have had experiences with it. Again, I'm going to sound crazy to some people. I'm okay with that. I'm very open about this. I'm going to talk about some other people's experiences a little bit, but some people, when they do share their story, they ask you not to share with anyone else. So anyone who has done that, I'm not going to share your stuff. I'm going to keep it first and second person, kind of like either stuff I've experienced or stuff my wife has experienced. So for myself, early ages, I do not remember experiencing anything. For me, it started in 4th grade. Now, one thing I can say is that my mom, when I was much younger, did have a Ouija board in the house, and we used it together. Don't do that. That's bad. Don't do that with your family.
Hey, babe, can you have her keep it down? I'm having a hard time focusing.
Now, so, yeah, there was a Ouija board. That's really stupid. Don't mess with that. I have, when I've shared my stories and other people shared their stories, there were stories that they had that directly related to the use of a Ouija board. You were not talking to your loved ones when you use that. You were talking to the demonic realm. Now, what did I personally see? 4th grade, I was on a very strict schedule where I was going to bed at 9 p.m. and waking up at 6 a.m. And I'm sure a lot of you have experienced it where when you're on a really good schedule and you're waking up kind of like clockwork, you start waking up before your alarm clock, right? So I was experiencing that. So I'd wake up early, just a couple minutes early before my alarm. It was just like very natural. Now, one particular morning when I woke up, I sat up in my bed and I looked at the doorway, which was just like 6 feet away or so from where I was sitting. And I saw 2 shadow people walk in. And, Shadow Demon, it's literally, you can go to Walmart or Spirit Halloween around Halloween, and you can see a costume that is for the Shadow Demon. It is a common thing that a lot of people see. But I saw them walk in, and they're kind of hunched over and creeping in. Now, in that moment, I wasn't really scared. I was just like, what is that? It was weird to me. So I'm looking at them. I remember I was looking to my left, and I was sitting up in my bed. Then my alarm started going off because they walked in, they stopped, and they just stared right back at me. And then my alarm started going off. I turned, I shut off my alarm, and then I looked back, and they were gone. Okay. After that, and again, I was in 4th grade, I ran downstairs and went on the couch. I threw a blanket over my head, and I hid there. until I was like, okay, I got 8 minutes to get to the bus stop. And I ran back upstairs, got dressed, and ran to the bus stop. Now, after that, things that I experienced in that house, it was a townhouse, and it was my dad's house. Footsteps pacing through my dad's room. Now, I was on a schedule where when I would wake up, my dad was already at work. I'd get home from school, and he would get home like 3 hours later. I would be home alone. I would hear pacing footsteps going through my dad's room. Very distinct, because I can go right underneath that floor, right? It wasn't coming from the next house. It was coming from my dad's room. And it almost sounded like it was mimicking my dad's footsteps because he had a very unique pace, ankle pop, stuff like that I could hear. And I could be like, yeah, that's exactly what he sounds like. Had another thing like that happen later on. I'll get to that. But I would always hear these footsteps going through my dad's room. Now, I had 2 black cats. And one thing with them, they would run to the base of the stairs and just stare up it. And anytime they did that, I got a bad feeling. And I believe that when you get that bad feeling, like eyes are on you, like you feel like you're being watched, you should pay attention to it because it probably is real. I'm not going to say 100% like you can't fool yourself, but I'm saying sometimes we talk ourselves out of it and convince ourselves that things are not what they are, right? So that was a common thing. There would also be times where I would just be, home alone, hanging out, watching TV or something, and I would get out of nowhere that eerie feeling that eyes were on me. Now, what I saw got confirmed later, but I'm going to go chronologically right now. So that was happening at my dad's house. Now, my dad went to Iraq. I moved into my mom's house. And there, another thing I experienced was one morning I was getting ready for school. And I was in my closet. So this is in 5th grade now. And I heard a voice over my left ear, like it was whispering directly into my ear. Did not hear it with the other ear at all. I'm in my closet. I'm getting ready. And I heard a voice. I can remember it clear as day. It said, "Firo, Fira." And I turned screaming because who wouldn't, right? And then there was no one there. Now, my bedroom door was open, right? There was a bathroom right here. It was a small house, and my mom's room was right here. So my bedroom, bathroom. And upset with that. I turned screaming. And she was 1 or 2 rooms away. Maybe she wasn't in her bedroom, but it's not like there was a bunch of closed doors in this house. We all hung out on that main floor. And I went, "Mom." I'm like, "Ah." And they go, "Mom." She goes, "Yes." I'm like, "Did you just hear me scream?" She goes, "No." So that was really weird to me that she did not hear me scream. That I heard the voice in my ear and she did not hear me scream. Now, later, my mom and her boyfriend at the time, who later became my stepdad, now they're divorced, but I'll just call him stepdad. My mom and my stepdad had problems and they broke up, and this is still while my dad's in Iraq. So my dad wanted me to stay in the same school system and not to move somewhere else or anything crazy like that. So he's like, "Hey, I'm paying the bills on my house, moving to my house. Andrew can go to the same schools that he was going to, that he'll be going to when I get back, and trying to keep things stable for me." So my mom moved into my dad's house. I know, kind of weird, but it made sense for my dad at the time, and it was really helpful to my mom. So my stepdad's living at their house, and my mom's living at my dad's house. I'm with my mom. Now, my stepdad at that house where I heard that voice, he moved in some roommates, and now I'm talking more secondhand. They were experiencing some stuff as far as like, there was one roommate who was kind of a shitbag that would eat other people's food, wouldn't pay any bills. And, that friend you shouldn't hang out with that you need to cut out, he was that guy. And he had stuff happening like paintings fall on him, different weird stuff. But I'm not going to say necessarily that it's a house that things are attached to, but maybe there's a presence in the house. We can talk more on that later. But so now I'm at my dad's house with my mom. My dad's in Iraq. My stepdad's over here. They start kind of fixing things, and then he starts coming over. I know, real weird, but anyways, it's the way it was. I didn't find out until I was 25 years old. All I remember is one day I got home from school and my mom was burning sage through the house. And I was like, what is that? What are you doing? Because she's holding a thing on fire, putting smoke through the house. And she goes, oh, you know those things you saw that you told me about that you saw in here? Well, I'm just getting rid of them. Okay. And then when I was 25 and I was over at their place, they finally told the story where my stepdad had seen two shadow people in the bathroom. Right now at this house, at my dad's house, it was like my bedroom, bathroom, and then over here was my dad's room. Right, so that he was in here and he saw them in there. I saw them over here entering my room. So I didn't find out about that till way later. Okay, but to me that kind of confirms what I saw. That made me like way less skeptical about it, and I always remembered seeing what I saw, but that was kind of like confirmation for me. Now, after that, 6th, 7th grade, I think is when my grandma died, and I was over at my grandpa's house, right, and over there, I was just hanging out with him, spending time with him. It was just being there for him, basically. We had gone out to eat, had some fun together, and then, like just hanging out, going out, doing stuff. And then we were back at his house. We were watching a movie. Then I was on the computer. And then about 10 o'clock, probably before that, he was like, all right, I'm going to bed. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm over here in the living room. Grandpa's room is way at the other end of the hallway. Now, my grandma slept in the living room and my grandpa slept in his bedroom, right? The way they did it. And my grandma was really heavy too. So it was like, I think it was also kind of easier for her. But now between those was the bedroom I was staying, and across from that was the bathroom. And so anyways, my grandpa goes to bed. About 2 hours later, messing around on the computer, playing on addictinggames.com and whatnot. 2 hours later, I go to bed. So I go into the bathroom, brush my teeth, all that. I go to the bed. I close the door. Now I hear, again, heavy footsteps. It's like they're mimicking. Okay. Some people believe in like spirits, right? Yeah, that might be a thing. I lean much more towards it's the demonic. And that comes from like, a lot of people talking about like interactions that people have where they think they're communicating with spirits. Really, it is demons that are mimicking and they're giving information like psychics and stuff. They're not talking to your dad. They're not talking to your great grandpa. They're talking to a demon who is giving them ideas. But so anyways, where my grandpa slept, again, this is when after my grandma passed, I went from on the computer to the bathroom and I'm laying down in bed, I had the door shut. I'm not asleep yet. Now I hear very heavy footsteps, exactly like my grandmother. And they come from down the hallway from my grandpa's room. They stop right in front of my door. And I'm like, that's weird. That doesn't sound like grandpa. And he never gets up at night. He never does that. So they like four heavy footsteps exactly at my grandmother's pace. They stop in front of the door and I go, good night, Grandpa. And then they start walking towards where my grandma slept in the living room. I used to think that was my grandma visiting me. But after watching a lot of interviews with like exorcists and also people coming from the evil side that converted to Christianity. I full on believe that was a demon impersonating my grandma. So that was another weird one. I was definitely freaked out that night, you know, especially like because when I had seen the shadow demons, you know, that stuck with me for a long time. We'll talk more on those too, because they're a very common thing that a lot of people have seen. I even use a picture, supposedly, of an actual one caught on photo for the thumbnail of this. Now, didn't have many experiences after that. I pretended to be an atheist, but really I was just rebelling for a period of my life after that too. And I think it was mostly an influence on music was the reason for that. Now I'm totally Christian, like 100%. But so next experience was Afghanistan. And again, this is one where several other people had a similar experience. Okay. So, FOB, PA, and Kajaki. And it was when we were tearing everything down and we weren't going to be there anymore. So we were going to actually abandon it and head back to Leatherneck and then go home. We ended up getting extended, but that was the plan. So there's the whole FOB was like this right now. Back here is where the helipad was, right? And there were posts back here, but we reduced it. So we took all the stuff out of this area where people used to sleep and whatnot, and we reduced it to just back here. So there's less stuff to pack up, basically. Now we're still manning the posts out here. So there's, I think it was post 5 was the one I was on. It overlooked the bazaar, and you could see the Ancop police station from there. One night, definitively, I heard footsteps circling my post for like an hour straight. Again, kind of a slow pace, just walking around it in circles. I had every post that could see me look at my post with night vision and thermals. And there's even that edge detection stuff on the thermal was a thing at that time. I had them all look at me. No one saw anything. But I'm like, dude, I fucking know something is walking around me right now. Just find out what it is. I even had the corporal of the guard come up and look around for any sign. Nothing. Okay. All freaked out about that. I let the post, the guy that was relieving me, that came on post next, know about it. And I'm like, I don't know what it is. Probably fucking haunted, you know, because I believed in that at that point. And I don't remember. They probably had a similar experience. But the next day when I went on post, I talked to the guy who was on the post before me, and he had the same thing happening. Several guys actually experienced it there at that post. Now, supposedly, I don't know, I can't confirm, but supposedly there was one post that we never used, and we just put an Ivan target up in there. So I think we put an Ivan target. It was a ghost post, and we put something there to make it look like there was a dude there, but no one ever manned it. And supposedly a Marine had killed himself on that post. Now, I'm not going to say like it was the demonic was the reason why he killed himself. People kill themselves for lots of reasons. But, you know, lingering evil spirits, maybe a dark energy, something like that, that could have had something to do with it. Could have. I'm saying definitively I heard footsteps circling my post. That's the key thing there. Now, coming back from Afghanistan, a lot of guys experience this, and that's sleep paralysis. I was experiencing it heavily. Now, with the shadow people that I saw, if you hear stories from people about seeing shadow people, a lot of times they are in sleep paralysis when it happens. Personally, when I was in sleep paralysis, I did not see anything. I felt a heavy presence. I was scared, you know, and it's like not everything makes me scared. You know, I'm not going to pretend like I'm the toughest dude in the world or anything like that. I have worries, and things do scare me, but a serious feeling of dread and terror is what I would feel in sleep paralysis. You basically wake up, your eyes are open, but you cannot move. And you just feel like you have zero control over yourself. And there's a documentary called The Nightmare where they interview a lot of people about their experiences with the demonic, and there also is aliens and other stuff like that. And there, like, the depiction they show of shadow demons is what I saw, except I didn't see the red eyes. However, a lot of people have seen that. And maybe on a future live stream, I'll discuss some of the things that other people have shared with me about that. But one thing is that if you ask someone, like, hey, have you ever seen a ghost? Ask them what it looked like before you mention shadow people. Not every time, but I have found, we'll say 2 out of 3 times, they saw shadow people, shadow demons, or the Hat Man. There's also a video, which I could probably pull up while I'm talking right now. I'll go ahead and find it. But it's about people tripping on Benadryl. So they take way too much Benadryl. They end up seeing shadow people, shadow demons, and they will see the Hat Man. Now, the Hat Man, again, because that's when I ask someone if they've seen a ghost, I've had several different people tell me that they saw the dark figure wearing a hat, just like that Hat Man is always depicted. All right, Benadryl. There we go. Sorry, I can't fucking talk and type at the same time, but I'm gonna share this in the comments right now. Let me go there. Nope. So I would wake up in sleep paralysis a lot. This is after Afghanistan. Now, my experience, I didn't have any serious trauma from Afghanistan. I had a couple fights. I did have wake up sweaty and dreams thinking that you're in the shit and whatnot. Couple like small flashback type things, but I didn't have a seriously traumatic experience. A lot of people had a lot worse than I did. We won our fights, things. I would say things were substantially easier for me. I just commented the video about people tripping on Benadryl and seeing the Hat Man. Anyways, I think they're just crossing into the demonic plane when they do that. But I would wake up in sleep paralysis, and a lot of other Marines were too. And some guys would wake up and see a cloudy figure. Okay. Now, there's going to be more on those here in a little bit with my wife's experience. I'm trying to think where was the next one that I had. I think that's about it. About it for me. I started finding that when I had that, I would, it would look crazy, but I would literally be like, get out of my house. Like, you shouldn't be here. I have dominion over this. I am living, you or not. Stuff like that. Now, the right way to do it is just say, in Jesus' name, leave, or Jesus, protect me. I'll get some examples of that later. Now, one other experience outside of sleep paralysis, it wasn't me. But guys seeing shadow demons, shadow people. And I was deployed to Okinawa. So all right, hang on. After Afghanistan, lots of sleep paralysis happening. Then we went to Yemen. Some guys had stories. Supposedly one of our squad leaders woke up with a bunch of scratches on him, and people were taunting a spirit that was supposedly in that hotel that we were guarding. It was across the street from the embassy in Yemen. So there was one platoon at the embassy, one platoon at the hotel. I was in the platoon at the hotel. Thank God. The guys at the embassy really had it shitty. But massive stress there too. Coming back from Yemen, my main purpose was being a good father. Because the first time I got on the internet when I was in Yemen, I found out I was going to be a dad. Right. So when I got back, got married, had our kid, Hadley, and that was my main purpose. I didn't really experience sleep paralysis then so much. I do not believe. I did still have some of the sweaty nightmares and, you know, some like semi sleepwalking stuff. But it would basically be like sit up in my bed and it would look like I would look like I was holding a rifle, is what my ex-wife told me. But anyways, so then next appointment was Okinawa. And so we went to Okinawa, and then eventually we went to Mount Fuji for training. Now, Mount Fuji, if you don't know, is there's a big training area right at the base of that, but it's also linked to the suicide forest. So look up the Japanese suicide forest. You can learn about that. But like, not me. I didn't see anything there, but everyone else did. Okay. Now, suicide forest, you understand seppuku, Japanese committing suicide. Tom Holyby is Ashgar Defense in the chat. He can talk about it, but he's a Christian, so he's not going to do it. But he's a nerd on Japanese shit. But so what guys saw, we'd be training in that training area at the base of Mount Fuji in the forest, which is connected to the suicide forest. And basically people would go there, they would OD and die or do whatever they needed to do to kill themselves to die with honor and do the honorable death that they believed in. But, we'd be out there. And so we'd set up a defense and, we'd go 50-50. So one guy's on and the other guy is sleeping. And, we would basically LARP war in the fucking suicide forest. And guys all night on the radios were saying they were seeing these figures. They're like, hey, they're 35 yards away, and they all were seeing dark figures. They're all shadow people. They're all seeing it. And so we get to talking about it, and then one of my buddies, he had done a previous deployment where he ended up in that same forest doing training. He told me about one time there was snow on the ground, and he was leading his patrol. They had blanks in their guns, right? And he saw these 3 shadow figures in a ranger file. And so he halted his patrol, called out, hey, who is that? All that. And then took a knee. And after he took a knee, his squad took a knee. The 3 shadow people took a knee. All right. And then continue the verbal commands. And then they're like, okay, I guess we need to shoot our blanks at them and assault through. So they did that. Shot, bam, and assaulted through where he saw them, not too far away. And they weren't there. And he said they looked at the ground. Again, there's fresh snow on the ground. And the only tracks that were there were theirs going through. So it wasn't just like our guys that experienced it. Other guys have experienced it there before. I'd be interested if you ever do talk to someone who did train at Mount Fuji. Ask them if they ever experienced anything weird and ask them what it looked like. All right. So now I've dated several women that have also seen these and experienced these. It seems they're very attracted. The shadow demons are very attracted to people going through trauma, hard times. I will also say it doesn't have to be that. Okay. I think from everything I've researched and interviews I've listened to in my own experience, it's like when I was in 4th grade, I think, I'll be an open book right now. That was when I had discovered pornography. So maybe it was the sinning at that time that was attracting them. And maybe it was me, maybe it was my dad. I'm not sure, but I do believe that when you are sinning, they're coming around more often. It doesn't have to necessarily be that either. It can, there's many different sins you can do. And this is why I'm calling this video series from now on, repent from your sins. Turn away from your sins and turn towards God and ask for forgiveness. Do not fall into disparity over your sins, because that is also what the devil wants. Now, with my wife, she had seen these things, like cloudy figures and stuff, since like high school. Now, when we were together, or since we've been together, rather, we've lived in an apartment, a trailer, a house, and now we're in this other house. We'll call it the cabin. Okay, try to kind of keep things congruent. So, apartment, trailer, house, cabin. All right. Now, at the apartment, she didn't really see anything. At the trailer, she started seeing things. I don't know if I was necessarily falling into sin at that time at all. I also think sometimes they're coming to you for other reasons. It's kind of like when you watch exorcists talk about this stuff. One thing they say is that it's like, hey, if you're an atheist and you don't believe in God and you sin all you want, the demons aren't going to come to you because they have no reason to. You do believe in God. The way I'm seeing it, from my understanding currently, that could change. You do believe in God, but you're rejecting God. They will probably start coming for you. Now, if you do believe in God and you're doing the good things and you're in favor of God, you're also in favor of the devil. So you will also probably get them at that point. Now, I've watched some interviews with witches and Satanists, and some people that would literally try to put demons and attach them to people. And they would do things like astral project. And so they would basically means that they can and don't see them. Their spirit has left their body. They're entering the room and they're looking at you. Now, you don't believe in that? Okay, fucking the CIA has documents on it. I kind of think I experienced that one time. It was really weird. It was like when it was in third or second. It was like I woke up and I ran into my mom's room, pushed the door open, walked in, and then I woke up actually back in my body, and I repeated the same thing. I'm not going to say that I 100% astral projected. I don't know. But that is a thing that people do. And I wasn't trying to, if anything. Okay. I'd like to keep my spirit in my own body. Thank you very much. But some of these witches and Satanists that would astral projection, try to put demons on people, one thing they would say is that there would be a Christian family that would be praying really hard over their family. And there would be a literal blue light over them, like a force field, and they could not get any demonic entities to interact with them. They were protected by God. I now actively pray for my family because I want that protection for my family. I want that force field. I don't want any demonic interactions. Now, so also one of the exorcists talk about, when an exorcist goes in to work on someone, to remove evil spirits from them, someone who's oppressed or possessed, they actually have to clean themselves up. They will fast. They will do confession, and they'll take sacrament. They'll do everything they can possibly do to make their spirit clean, so that when they enter to do that exorcism, they're ready for battle. Their spirit is clean. Okay. Now, one thing I mentioned earlier is calling for Jesus to protect you. Understanding what an exorcist does before they go to work, I would also think that if they have to do that, I don't think that just anyone can call for Jesus for protection. Like if you were sinning super hard, you have turned away from God, or you even turned towards sin, that may not work. Okay. But I will share some stories here soon where calling for Jesus to protect from the demons did work. Okay. So at the apartment, my wife didn't really say anything. I had one weird experience where I heard like a hissing noise. Woman I was with at the time also heard it. Like we fucking went out. It was weird. It was bad. It was clear as day. Again, you can say it was a pipe or whatever. Sure, could have been. We heard it clear as day. We were both freaked out by it. It came from underneath the coffee table. Now, that woman had a lot of evil spirits attached to her, though. Like, might share stuff on that at a later time. But especially like people with heavy trauma, they're very attracted to that. She had a lot of heavy trauma. Now, with my current wife at the apartment, nothing. At the trailer, that's when it started happening. May have had one instance, I think I remember her saying at the apartment, but it wasn't enough where she said anything. Now, so what she would see and would be waking up in sleep paralysis, she had seen it before, like in high school. It would be stuff like a bunch of bugs on the wall, like a million spiders or a million cockroaches on the wall. Another thing would be like a cloudy figure forming, right? Now, so a lot of people will see that like out of the corner of their eye, like a little dart back around the corner, right? Pay attention to that. But at the trailer, she had woken up and seen a cloudy figure in the bathroom, which is right next to her bed, right? And then started seeing it form into something more. She only told me about this way later. So please, like if this is happening in your home, let the people around you know. You guys need to get rid of it. And it might not be you that's the reason it's there. Okay. It might be someone else is causing this thing to be attracted to you guys. But for the love of God, pray, repent, like get right with God and protect yourselves from these things. It's not just going to be a thing that forms in your room that you see during the middle of the night and you can't move. Okay. There's other ways. And I will talk on one other way that I have experienced that I think was demonic. But, so she would see this. And then I don't think we saw it after we moved out of that trailer to the new house. And maybe that's because our spirits are much higher. We're doing much better. I mean, we moved in that trailer and there's some hard times. We moved into a shitty trailer that cost $600 a month. That was so that I could afford to start my business. So that was like a stepping stone. And, you know, that's one of the things I love most about my wife is I was like, hey, are you willing to move out of this apartment to a shitty trailer so I can start my business? She's like, yeah, let's suffer while we're young. You know, and she's crushing it. She's in there right now, still packing orders. She has 600 orders over there. So that's another thing. Like, suffer while you're young. You don't have to work a normal job. Find a thing you can sell. Fucking get good at it. But at that house didn't really see anything. But then in the cabin here, saw worse things, as far as scarier things. Now, I do think they started coming after my baby. Okay. Sweet, innocent daughter, right? Scarlett. And she is 3 years old now. But my wife would see the thing in our bedroom. And I'm not afraid to talk about this because I don't think it's the house. But she would see it. And one time she even saw full-blown demon shadow figure, but it had big horns. Like, finding that out is terrifying. And in different ways, I know I was falling back into sin at that time. And so I repented for that. And now we're doing really good. Like, but like, that was a thing I would consistently pray for my family. Now, one thing I used to do is I used to try to seem humble to God, I would say. Maybe that's the wrong word, but I would pray for everyone except for myself. Now I pray for myself too. And just listening to different preachers and whatnot talk about it. A lot of great content on YouTube on these subjects, but he's like, yeah, wait, you think you're too good to pray for yourself? Pray for yourself. I've started doing that. But like, haven't seen anything in quite a while. Since we've been turning much more towards God God damn.
I'm talking about this. You
You just
just
pop out in the
corner of my screen, freaking me out.
but yeah, we haven't had any experiences lately. Things have been much better. Now I did have one experience though in the past couple of weeks, right? And this is another thing where it's like I've heard many people, again, like different preachers, priests, and exorcists and whatnot, talk about in interviews and their own YouTube content. But a thing I've experienced recently is I think there was a demon putting accusations into my family, right? An accuser. And you can look up the accuser and Satan and the accuser and demon, and you can find a lot of interesting information on this. But sometimes, and this is another one, sometimes demons put thoughts in your head that aren't yours. So I used to think that, I still do believe that every human can be evil, right? And we're inherently are. We're inherently good too, because we're creating the image of God. But like we have free will, we have the capability of evil. So not going to say 100% it's demonic. If you get a bad thought or whatnot, it could be you, and you might need to fix something about yourself. But there is a thing where they can put some really fucked up shit in your head, like the worst possible thing you could think of. They can put that in your head. So if you've ever experienced that, be mindful that could be the demonic. Now, what I was experiencing, argument with my new stepdad, some tribulation going on there. I got ties. Not happy about it, but doing the right thing. And then I had a rough week. Had to spend the whole week working on my house, getting water running. And then I was getting frustrated with my wife and my kids, and starting to get resentful over little stuff, right? And it was what it was. I was thinking that you did this thing on purpose because you don't respect me. You don't listen to me. And I was literally saying this stuff. And I was getting mean. Now, I had to drive my buddy, drop him off. On the way I was talking this through, I actually asked Eric from Barrel and Hatchet. I have his phone number. I asked him for a prayer request, explained to him what was going on. I was like, man, I think there's an accuser, a demonic accuser going on. And, I left the house on a bad note. I was going on a 6-hour trip or something. Drop my buddy off and come home. And I tried texting my wife to make things good, and it wasn't working. And I was like, and she was like, you did this, and this. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Can we just talk about when we get home or when I get home? Now, so I dropped my buddy off. The second I sat in my car and I was about to put the keys in and turn my car back on, I got a text from my wife. And it was a meme video. And it was basically about a couple making up and how they do it. And I felt so relieved instantly. Oh, I don't know if Eric had prayed for me in that time, but I definitely sent a text and asked for it. Knowing Eric, I kind of suspect he did. I can't wait to talk to him about it. He also accepts prayer requests, and like he should damn near start hiring people full time to do these prayer requests, because he gets so many and a lot of them are so heavy. But it was just amazing that the second I got in my car and I sat down to start it, before I could put my keys in, I get the text from my wife. I felt so relieved. And on the way home, I prayed super hard and I experienced something new. And I hope this, if you are a person who has been oppressed demonically, as many have, and there's kind of what we're talking about is demonic oppression right now, not possession, oppression. But I felt the opposite of what I normally feel when I get the fear, the terror from them. So when I get the terror from them, I feel this electric current, basically, and it feels like it enters my spine and seeds its way in. As I was praying really hard for everything. I was praying to remove any demonic spirits. I was praying for my stepdad who I had an argument with, and well, I didn't really argue. I just let him be the mad one. But prayed for I pray for my enemies and people I was currently in a dispute with. Like that's something I've been much better about lately, and it's very relieving for me. But as I was praying, I felt the opposite of that that electric sinking in, that electric feeling going through my body, going into my spine and coming in. I felt it radiating out as my prayers got stronger, as I was feeling like I was doing the right thing by God. And it was coming from my spine up. And when I got back, my wife and I were good. And we were the tightest we've ever been. Okay. And now we're actually actively praying together. And that has never been a thing in my family besides like, my grandpa's Catholic. And so we go to church, but I wasn't in it when I was doing that. There was a little bit of a period of time where I was like, yes, this is good. And then I was not into church. So it was basically the only time we would ever pray together would be, before a meal, but it was more scripted than anything. It wasn't like, hey, we're going to pray for this thing. It wasn't an act of like, we're doing this, we believe it. It was more just a thing that we did. And like, my mom wasn't a Christian. My dad is Catholic, but like we never prayed before a meal. And it seems like he's doing that now. So I'm happy for him in that regards. But my wife and I are now actively praying, and it seems like our prayers are getting answered too. We're right at this moment where we're waiting on a new rental application where we're going to get a bigger home. It's going to be much nicer so that my wife can have her soap shop over here in a separate building, because it's really hard with this amount of space we have right now. And then I'll have my own work area, and it's looking like I'm also going to be able to host classes there. It's on 9 acres. It won't be live fire, but like medical and, lecture type stuff, probably some knife classes and stuff like that. More stuff in other directions I want to go, because it's not combat shooting training, it's combat art training. And a big part of that is I want to bring in all the other stuff that relates to overall preparedness for emergencies. And it looks like I'm going to have my own venue to be able to do that now. And it's a really nice house too. I'm actually kind of hoping that we end up buying it eventually, because there's a pool there, and it's not working. We're not allowed to go in it if we rent it, but it would be the coolest house ever if that pool was working too. It's a really cool house. But we had one of the things we prayed for was a house like that. And we were like, if we're going to go here or there, because there's a new range I'm getting access to. And so maybe it makes sense to go there. But this house is so nicely located to everything we do. It will work perfectly for what we're doing. And so we prayed to God for it. We went and checked it out the other day. No one else is interested. And another couple had come after we were there. They didn't look enthusiastic at all. And the realtor says she got 2 applications today. So I'm assuming she has no other applications. And so other interesting thing, if you watch my Instagram and you're following me on Instagram, you'll have seen the other day at like 2:30 a.m. I had posted Mark 11:24. Okay. And so basically we prayed to find this house. We found this house, submitted our applications. And that night, as I'm scrolling, I found this. And I don't stop on every Christian thing I see on the internet, right? But I stopped on this. It wasn't like, oh, you got to stop on this. But I was like, let me do that. And I stopped on it. So Mark 11:24. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. So pray for it. Believe that God has heard it. And believe that you have it. Okay. Now, this is also where we cross into like manifestation. I would like to do a whole nother live stream on that, but I have for sure manifested things, including my wife. I've got 2 AKs I manifested, interviews with different people, experiences I've had that I was like, I can't wait to have this, you know. And it wasn't even that I was praying at that time, but it's like definitively I got them. Okay. But I would do another show on that because there's also, I think there's probably a dark side of manifestation too. But pray for it, know that God got that prayer, and then believe that you have it and you're going to get it. And then you'll get it. And now, right now, it's looking exactly like we're going to get it. And I feel 100% confident that even if we didn't get this house, we would get something better. Okay. Now, so ending on a brighter note there, but you know, some of the key things to everything I've just said, and I'm going to get to comments here in just a minute. So yeah, if you have questions, start dropping them right now. I'm going to go first to the bottom, see what questions you have, and then I'll read more. But even if you commented a question earlier, go ahead, comment it again. Some of the key takeaways I want you guys to have. Number one, the demonic world is real. That's why I'm a Christian, because I've seen it. I've experienced it firsthand. You can call me crazy if you want, but I know God is real. I'd like to speak more on ways I've experienced God. Oh, that's the other thing I missed out on saying. So I talked to, he's a white guy. His name is actually Jesus. So it would probably sound great. I was talking to Jesus yesterday. No, my buddy Jesus, he's a SEMA instructor. I'm looking forward to doing some lives with him. A good friend of mine, him and I met attending a St. Ezekiel's class. I told him about all the stuff I just shared with you about finding that house and finding Mark 11:24. He's like, dude, I saw Mark 11:24 written on a board on my way here, because we were hanging out yesterday at the range, and he literally saw that on the way there. And that was the other time I experienced the electric surge radiating up out of my body. I'm interested if any of you have experienced that. But yeah, God is real. Demons are real. Take it seriously. Just like if you take violence seriously, you should take God seriously. You should take the demonic realm seriously. And if you don't, okay. But the evil people in this world that you think are ruining our country and doing horrible things, they believe in it. And they are using the demonic realm against you right now. If you think spirit cooking is a joke because, they're just doing weird stuff and it's just for show. No, that shit is real. Alex Jones went into Bohemian Grove and proved it 20 years ago, 10, 20 years ago. And people just, no big deal. One of the biggest problems that we have with our culture is people ignoring evil. Take it seriously. Take violence seriously. Take evil seriously. Take God seriously. Now, I'm going to start getting to the comments. Again, if you have a question or something, go ahead and post it now. Manifesting is not of God. Okay, Ashgar Defense, do a live on that. You go ahead and explain your point of view. I'm interested in it. I'm sure we'll talk about it on the phone, but I got a lot of work to do, so I'm not doing a lot of phone calls anytime. All right, we're all wretched sinners, but with Jesus we are saved. Yes. Ashgar, none of us are worthy, but God is gracious. Yes. Beard trim looks good. Thanks, bro. Oh, also, everyone who's saying hello, I'm just going to say hello right now. I don't read that because I'm trying to keep the comments quick. All are worthy of God's love and protection. Dude, when you listen to that Sean Ryan episode I sent you. Yeah, Sean Ryan did an episode with Dave Mustaine. Dave Mustaine was in the occult, and he has since been saved. So I'm very interested in watching that. That just came out. Are you reading the Bible I gave you? Not yet. I am sorry. I've been making time for Bible. I haven't been doing all the stuff. Ouija board. Who is this? Yeah. Let's see how it works. All right. Not many comments today. Wow. Wonder if people are interested or if they're tuning out. All right. Now, so, hey, thank you guys for watching and paying attention to that. I'm trying to put more of Christianity into my message. It's been happening a lot in class. When Jesus and I, again, my white friend Jesus, his name is Jesus, not Jesus. We were hanging out at the range. Probably spent like 2-3 hours talking about God and religion, and like that's the best. When I was at the No Other Choice Train and Learn, I missed out on a part of class at the end. It was the giveaway stuff, but me and a few other dudes, Jesus and Jerry Gouge from Prepared Patriot, and probably someone else came up during that time, but we were talking about Christianity. One of the problems with modern Christianity is they have tried to make it gay and weak, and that's not meant to be offensive towards any people, but they're diluting it. They're making it weak and literally making it gay. And so basically they're trying to make Christianity not Christianity. One thing I found with a lot of atheists, they're not actually atheists. They believe in God. They're just mad at him. A lot of the times it's because they think he should be more nice, more good to me. Nothing bad should happen to anyone. And my simple message is like, or my response to that would be like, hey, if God is who he is, who the fuck are any of us to try to tell him what's right? Now, I'm going to hit on classes again, all right? And then I got to get going because I need to wake up early and do a lot of sewing. Combat Shotgun coming up, Leesburg, Florida. I believe next Sunday. Let me get that on the screen. It will be June 8th. After that, June 21st, Saturday. Rifle cheat codes. New class. We're stretching that out to 100 yards. Philosophies in that class are very similar to pistol cheat codes if you have taken that. So developing a technique for rapid engagements. So acquiring the target, getting that perfect first hit on target. And like, guys, just think about it. Practice brain shots a lot. It's much better to just shoot the bad guy in the head, put him down immediately, than it's for you to sit there and bill drill each other in the hearts. That is one of the key things there. So getting those sights on target sooner, getting those hits accurately, getting follow-up hits accurately is also a thing we'll be practicing, but it's not like the strings of fire are not going to be long strings of fire. Like I'm much more emphasis on just getting perfect initial hits. And we'll be stretching that out to 100 yards. Rifle cheat codes will also be going on in October. October 17th in Mount Carmel, PA. That's a Friday, and that's before patrolling the homestead with Jay Gibson of Prelactus Training. And when we do patrolling the homestead, there will be an opportunity for live fire there. So bring ammo to that. But so after Rifle cheat codes, June 21st at Air Training Facility in Leesburg, Florida. Pistol cheat codes and Proving Grounds pistol, Force on Force in New London, Ohio. So pistol cheat codes is a how to shoot your gun good class. And so it's a heavy development and analysis of technique. And both with rifle cheat codes and pistol cheat codes, it culminates with being able to effectively shoot on the move while actually really moving fast. Okay. Something that kind of drives me nuts when you go to classes, it's always dog shit slow fucking movement where it's like literally I could put a grandma walking next to the guy shooting on the move and the grandma would be moving faster. That's not shooting on the move. That is not effective movement at all. So there are some certain cheat codes that I teach that I did not invent. I got for shooting on the move, got from Sonny Fazekas and Gary Moore, Tremendous Dynamics. And then I've got some of my own stuff that I have added to it, and different formulas on how to teach it that I've found to be very effective. If you come to Alumni Weekend at Tactical Response the day before, I'm also going to be running pistol cheat codes. So Friday, the day before Alumni Weekend, I'll be running that class. So take that too. But yeah, New London, Ohio, Thurman's Place, doing pistol cheat codes, improving grounds, pistol force on force. You can actually use the multiple classes sign up, and you can sign up from both at the same time. I need to update multiple classes with a few others. But come take those. Now, then I'm going to basically do 3 weeks on the road. So June 20th and 29th in Ohio, pistol cheat codes and proving grounds, pistol force on force. Then July 5th and 6th will be Carry Pistol 1 at Taprack Ridge. I'm planning on doing some filming because I want to get some training videos up for sale. I want to have one for the pistol cheat codes class. So I'm planning on going from Ohio to Taprack Ridge, do a bunch of filming and editing there. Maybe get something up for libertv.com too, because Kayla's asked for that, said I could contribute there. So I really want to. I want to help Tactical Response any way I can. Carry Pistol 1. It's not fighting pistol for sure, but it's more similar to that. But there's other stuff in there like tourniquet drills, 911 calls. I have definitely a different approach to many of the drills, including we're using force on paper in that class. So kind of a blend, live fire on paper and force on paper. We're not putting force on force in there, but force on paper, because there's certain things like scanning. You can't get a student to actually scan if there's no reason to. But when we do force on paper, I have a drill that I've developed where they actually have to be scanning. So it gives them a real why, and they don't feel like they're just standing in spots, spinning in a circle. Pistol cheat codes, Carry Pistol 1. I'm planning on changing the name of. Been going over several names. I want to name it some stuff, and my friends keep telling me don't use that word in it. So I'm leaning towards they're probably right, but I really want to. And plus, I hate how weak the language is in the gun community. Like, oh, it's a suppressor. Oh, it's a sporting rifle. Oh, it's defensive. Blah, blah, blah. It's all courtroom nonsense. And it's not really geared towards true violence. It's not really geared towards fucking winning the fight. Okay. And the words we have been using have meaning. And the more we've been using them in this industry, the more they have lost their meaning. And I'm actually planning on a video series too called Words Have Meaning. And we're going to be talking about stuff like the word advanced, professional, real world. Oh my God. Yeah. I'm going to be tackling a lot of those. Now, hear me out too. I'm going to say in advance, a lot of people that I train with that I recommend have said some of these cliches and misused words to a point that it's becoming ridiculous, but I would still tell you to go train with them. I just disagree with the use of a word. Okay. But all right. So Ohio, then Carry Pistol 1 at Taprack Ridge, July 5th and 6th, then July 11th, pistol cheat codes at Tactical Response. Also right now it's looking like both days at Alumni Weekend I'll be teaching. So that'll be exciting, teaching 3 full days in a row. I'm also planning on role playing for Fight Continues and Advanced Media Action Medical at Tactical Response. And looks like I'm going to be having one of my multi alumni coming up to take those classes. And I'm very happy about that. September 26th, Combat Art Training and Tremendous Dynamics, Art of the Bad Guy, Force on Force. Very cool class. When you're the good guy, you got to stop the bad guy. When you're a bystander, we give you different roles. And then when you're the bad guy, we give you a different bad guy objective. And it's up to you to figure out how to do that. So it could be steal that baby. Hey, go carjack that guy. Hey, knife that dude in the throat. Be an active shooter, whatever. If you're not a sociopath or a psychopath, you're probably not good at it. So I think it is a good thing for us to experiment with and learn what it's like just to do that, even if it's in a simulated environment. I have different drills I do in Gunfight Club, Force on Force, where it puts pressure on you because you're the dude about to pop it off. And there's very unique experiences we get out of it. It's literally a game we play called Secret Active Shooter. So everyone stands in a tight circle, and I put my hand on each guy. Now, if I just tap you on the shoulder, you're a good guy. If I squeeze you 3 times, you're the bad guy. Good guys get 1 shot. The bad guy gets a full mag to shoot. His objective is to shoot everyone. We see training scars come out. We see people make assumptions. We see people shoot the wrong guy. A lot of times after we run that drill, everyone is dying laughing because this anticipation builds up. And everyone's looking around like, who's the active shooter? I think it's him. No, maybe it's him. He's acting weird. And we also see telegraphing. We see guys that active shooter will oftentimes walk like they are like they're a godlike figure because they're not afraid because they know they're going to pop it off. Sometimes the active shooter is fucking nervous as hell. Okay. Very fun game we play. And potentially might run a Gunfight Club at Alumni Weekend because it's a lot of fun. But I'm going to be pretty wore out now. I'm guessing the students will be too. But are the bad guys basically that? When you're the bad guy, you're the guy who's going to pop it off. But that's happening September 26th. So it's like kind of a Force on Force scenario class, but the scenarios are way less scripted. It's just like, hey, this is your role, your role, your role, your role. Begin. And then, of course, the Combat Arts Summit, September 27th and 28th. And a lot of awesome dudes are going to be there. If you're not going to be there, you are clearly smoking crack because this is an event not to be missed. We're going to have, of course, I'll be there. Tactical Response be there. Forward Training Concepts, Sonny Pazikas, Tremendous Dynamics, Gary Marr, Definitive Training Solutions, Zach Bush, Pace Training Initiative, Calvin Lim, Performance Edge, Aaron Little, 0 Point Training, Mike Fiore, Preelectus Training, Jay Gibson, Elcar Concepts, Lewis Karras, Ashgar Defense, Tom Holybee, Prepare Patriot NC, Jerry Gouge, Homestead Medical, Chuck Peoples, Iron Forge Consulting, Jonathan Aldridge, Excess Knife and Tool, Jacob Peterson. Topics covered so far: we got pistol, rifle, shotgun, hand-to-hand, knife work, medical, radio, ambush. That's gonna be done in the woods. Medical, Force on Force, regular Force on Force, shooting on the move, survival, bushcraft, dry fire, low light live fire, low light medical, low light Force on Force, flashlight lecture, active shooter lecture, and Sonny also has a lecture that he's going to be going on. He told me a little bit about it. Getting descriptions from all of these guys on their classes currently, and then I'm going to update the website with them. I think we'll probably roll through them on a live stream going over what they are so y'all can be informed. But every one of these instructors has a discount code to get you $100 off. So if you have trained with any of these instructors, hit them up. Get their discount code, sign up for it. Okay. I'm thinking about actually closing off the discount codes at a certain amount of time. Like the discount codes will die at this date. That will put a little bit more emphasis on getting it done. At the end of the summit, we're going to do a raffle, and all the proceeds are going to go towards Aiming for Truth. That is Kevin Dixie's foundation. He's helping youth who need it. He has from No Other Choice. Also, I'm going to be posting a video eventually. I just got to find time to make videos. I really don't have it. I've been sewing a lot, traveling a lot. But I did the Train and Learn event. There's going to be one going on next year. You should go to it, especially if you are looking into the business side of the firearms industry. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to comments real quick, and then I'm going to sign off. So let's see what else we got. All right. And reading the Bible is gay. That is right. All right. But yeah, guys. So thanks for watching. I appreciate all the help you guys have given me. Appreciate you guys being open to the Christian message. I think more of us need to talk about it because it's like a lot of Christians are really poor salesmen because they're like, oh, I don't talk about religion with my business. I don't talk about politics or religion. I get it, but at the same time, I think politics are a pretty good reflection of your values, and even more so with religion. But it's also about how you're following it. So now, closing it out, I think I'm going to close out with a prayer for the first time. So if you want to join me, go ahead and join me. All right, God, thank you for bringing me all these viewers today and allowing me to spread this message. I hope that a lot of people see this and start taking things more seriously. I feel like if more people knew that the evil was out there, they would try to be good more often. They would repent a lot harder. Please protect all my students. Help them find grace in your love. Help them find protection. Help them take you more seriously. Please protect my family. Please watch over Scarlett. Please watch over Hadley. Please watch over my brother Harvey. Please watch over my wife Ashley. And please watch over me. Please keep any demonic forces that may be interested in us far away as possible. I'm going to continue to do the right thing and honor you, God. Also, thank you so much for helping us find this house and making it so that we're the only ones who are signing up right now, it looks like. And if we get this house, we're going to do a good job making sure that when we do have costs out there, we're going to put more God into it and bring people closer to you. Amen. All right, guys. Again, thanks for watching. If you are sinning,